Hello all, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining MySQL tutorial, video tutorial, and in this video I am going to talk about how to use the DDL language, DDL statements in MySQL to create a database, create a table, drop database, all those commands we will use and we will experiment in our server. So my suggestion is to install exam server and I have created a video how to install and configure exam server. Watch it, okay, which is I am going to give link okay, how to configure exam server and then install and configure. I started exam server, which actually I will show you, which is Apache, MariaDB, PHP, and Perl. And I also installed Python. So I created a video here and then uploaded. You can come and watch. And we are going to work on this MySQL database, how to create database, everything in this particular. So what we are going to do is, starting from the scratch, drop database testdb. Testdb is what I have created as an example. So let me drop it and then we will start from the fresh. Okay. So to create a database, okay, so you have to use the command create database and database name. Okay. So I'm going to use, I started exam server Apache and MySQL, and then I'm going to use it as I mentioned right in this MySQL tutorial. So create database and database name. So to create the database, we have to use create database and the database name. So let us try that one. Okay. So I'm going to create a database testdb. Okay. So now you see testdb database has been created. Okay. And then so let us drop the db, right? How do we drop the db? How do we drop the db? So you just use a drop database and see we just now created the database, right? Let us actually try that one. Drop database and test db. Usually should not do this drop command because entire data will be lost. Don't do that. Now that database has gone, right? So you can use the drop db to drop the database. Okay. Now let us actually create database again. Okay, to do the experiments, right? So create database test db, right? So let us create the test db. Okay, test db is created. Now we are going to create a table. Okay, create table syntax is create table, table name, and then the fields or columns and various data types. What are the data types? You can actually see in the subsequent chapters. But let us create the database. Okay, so let us go to the database. If you don't select, it will go. It will be in different databases. Let us select the database, and then let us create the table. So create table persons, and then person ID is integer data type, and last name is varchar of 255. First name is varchar of 255, address is varchar of 255, and city is varchar of 255. And we have to close that bracket and then semicolon. Then go. Then the table is created in the database. So if you see the structure, you know, you will see what is the tables type and all those parameters are shown. Okay. So that is how you will create the database. So you can create another table based on the existing table, right? I mean, these are all permutations and combinations and so now what we are going to do, we are going to create another table based on the existing table. Persons, right? What is, I think we have not created customers, so What is that we are going to do is, for example, let us from persons, okay, and then what are the fields we created, okay, last name, first name, okay, create table as, okay, test table as last name and first name, right, from persons. You see, test table is created, okay, with the structure last name, first name, okay. So we can create like that also. We can create as from existing table, we have done it. So let us actually do that. So we have created a table, right, test table. Let us use that drop table, okay. Drop table, we have a test table, right, okay. So let us delete it. It is giving a prompt, are you sure? So usually drop table should not be done, and it should be executed very carefully. So you can truncate the table. Truncate the table means it will remove all the records of that particular, okay. For example, we don't have any records, right? Insert into persons, okay, one, first name, last name, address, comma, city, okay. These are the records we are inserting, okay. This is one record. What is this? What is the structure? Let us see. Insert into records, and we have to give values, okay. So if you see here, browse, this particular record is there. If you want to execute this again, right, two, okay, this has two records, right, with one, two. So now our requirement is, truncate table, okay. Now truncate, let us see what it is going to do. It truncate table persons, right. We have two records. Now we have done the truncate and then browse. All records are gone, okay. So be careful to do these tasks, okay. Now alter table, right. Alter table is used to add, modify, or delete columns or constraints, okay. So you can alter table, add email, okay. For example, in our persons table, you want to add a column email, right. You see, we have structure, we have email is added, okay. You understand, right, how it is happening? Or you want to drop the column, then use the syntax same. We have added column, right. Now we are going to drop that column. You see, email is added here, okay. So drop column, our table is persons, right, and then it is given the highlight, and then we are actually checking that is gone, okay. And if you want to modify the column type, you can use it, right. Earlier we have, for example, For example, we want to add column of persons with birthday uh, for example, this is the column we want to add in persons table. Okay, the column date of birth with date type is added. Okay, and then you want to change that to year. Okay, then let us do that one. You can change. Okay, right. Okay, let us see the structure. You see year of 4. Okay, it is change the only year it will be. So you can actually do it. Modify column. Alter table persons. Modify column and column name. Okay, you can also drop a column, right? So let us actually do this one. Alter table. We deleted the column now earlier. I think it is same as that one, but we can drop the column, right? Date of birth, and then the date of birth column is gone. Okay, so let us that is about the alter table. Let us talk about constraints. So constraints can be specified when the table is created with create table, like constraint primary key, right? Like that. Is null, not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, check, ensures that the value satisfies the specific condition, default values, create index. Okay, these are the constraints. Either during the table creation we can use, or we can alter table, add constraint, and then do that one. Okay, so MySQL not null when we are creating this, right? ID not null, ID not null, so you cannot add null value there. Okay, and you can use alter table persons, modify age not null. Here null we have added, right? Let us actually modify the person ID not null, right? Let us, what is that? Person ID we don't want have null. Person ID into not null. Okay, now let us check this, and then no, you see not null, no. Okay, so like that let us actually 127.0 and then Python and then test db. Okay, so this is here we are doing experiments, so you can actually modify alter table. Okay, and unique, we have given unique constraint. Okay, unique is the constraint, right? The unique constraint ensures that all the values in the column are different. Okay, both unique and primary key constraints provide a guarantee for uniqueness for a column or set of columns. A primary key constraint automatically has a unique constraint. Okay, however, you can have many unique constraints per table, but you will have only one primary key. So that is the difference. So you want to have a unique ID, right? When you are creating that, you can make it unique ID, or when you are creating a table, right? Table. Okay, let us drop the table. Let us drop the table persons and then create that with the unique ID, right? Let us do that. ID is unique. Okay. Similarly, to name a unique, add a, or you can create a constraint. You see person unique, ID and last name should be unique. That means it should be different. Okay. So like that you can drop table persons and then you can create that with the combination as unique, but you can still have one primary key, but unique means different values. So you can also alter table with this, right? Alter table, and then you can also add the constraints. So this is already there, so we don't have to create this, or let us have only one. You see person is already there, so we'll give a see person one as a unique. Okay, so it has a two constraints, right? Structure. Okay, so we are drop a unique. You can actually use alter table and to drop unique, right? So let us if you want to use it, add unique, drop index, right? Okay, so that is dropped. So you can add unique to the combination or unique or multiple columns, but primary key should be same, right? So how do we create a primary key? Primary key of that particular, or we can add that as a um, as part of the column, or we can add separately the primary key. Okay, so we have the table, so let us drop the table persons. Okay, we are creating the table with the primary key. You see, we have created, right? Primary key is created. You see, primary key. So similarly, drop the table persons, and then you can add primary key. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, right? So you can add constant primary key, or you can add in the table itself. You can also change the primary key, alter table, add primary key, or drop primary key. You can do that also. A drop primary key, alter table persons, drop primary key. So primary key will be dropped. Right, persons. We created the primary key. And we are dropping the primary key. Okay. Then a foreign key constant is used to prevent actions that would destroy links between the table. A foreign key is a field where in one table that refers to the primary key of another table. Okay. For example, let us create orders. a primary, let us create orders. Primary key referencing to the primary key of that particular. Okay, so I mean we need to add a primary key to the table, right? So let us add, what is this? Let us add alter table. Okay, persons. Okay, add primary key. Okay, id, right? Is it correct? What is that? We have done some mistake. We add in a primary key. So we have to use this syntax. We add primary key id. Okay. Oh, this is dragging every time. Table. We add the primary key. No. We add the primary key. And then we want to create a foreign key. Okay. We want to create the address table. Foreign key referencing to this. What is structure? Structure is ID, right? It is not person ID. So let us remember that. It will fail. Persons of ID. Okay, that will actually create. Okay, for. So that means the orders, whenever you are creating, okay, it should have a value. You cannot create just like that. Okay, so you can drop the foreign key also with this foreign key constraint. And check constraint is used to limit the value range that can be placed. If it fails, that condition will fail. Okay, for example, check age greater than or equal to 18. So that means you cannot enter the records if the age greater than less than 18. You can add constraint with the add check alter table, and then you can constraint with multiple conditions also. Okay, and you can drop the constraint with the drop table, drop check alter table persons and drop, and defaults, not null, default value you can give Sanders also. Okay, that means whenever you are creating, if you don't mention any value of city, and sadness will be added automatically. So you can add alter table person or city set default sadness, or you can also drop the default. And index is used to create the index of that particular table, and which will be used to access the table very fast. So create index name on table. Okay, when you are creating the index, you have to use that create unique index and on table, and then you can column 1 column 2, you can drop the index with the altered table. And auto increment, you can add auto increment when you are creating the particular person id, and auto increment too. You don't have to mention the values for a person id. Each time you insert a record, that value will be incremented. In this, each time the value will be incremented. And working with dates, date format has date, date time, timestamp, and year. These are the formats. YYYMMDD, this is format. Date timestamp will have YYMMDD, HS, minutes and seconds. Timestamp also in that format. Okay, but year will have only YYY or YY. Okay, so you can create the table, and you can actually work on the table, you can fetch them, but format should be same, remember that. And you can use between, where clause, everything in that, date. Okay. So create view, MySQL create view, create statement. Okay. In view, a virtual table, actually it is a virtual table based on the result set you can create, and then you can work on that. So when you are creating that, create view, view name as select, and then uh, right, based on particular, and you can work on that as a particular. So you have to use that, this particular as per the statement, right? Create view as, create view as, and then you can select that one, and then you can get the values from that. Or you can create a replace view if it is not there, can be updated. So you can use a drop view to drop the view. Okay. So that is all about DDL commands. Now we are going to talk about data types, which we are going to use it in your table creation. So char of size is a fixed length. Where char is a variable size, can contain letters, characters, and special. The size, parameter specifies maximum column length, but it is a range. Okay. And binary, right? And default value is 1 or 0. Where tiny blob is used for the large values. Okay. For objects, that is 255. Tiny text is used for small text, and text is used for text size. Blob is used for the binary objects. So long text to long block, you can see this, and based on your requirement, you can actually use it. And similarly, integer data types, and date, we already seen it. These are the data types you can create in your table creation. So there are many functions which are there. You can actually use it uh, in your upper UCase substring. uh, okay. Write, reverse, replace in your programs. Let us check one, and then substring, select substring of, if you test it, it will display. Okay, starting from, okay, fifth character, 3 characters. Okay, like that there are built-in functions, and you can use them in your programming. Okay, so that is all about, I want to touch upon. There are many functions available. You can come back to this, and then work on, go through my video tutorials, and learn, and learn MySQL. This is the uh, video which talks about, and my next videos which I already created, which has MySQL tutorials. Go through all those as a combined tutorial, and then understand, and then come back to w3schools.com and practice as much as possible to be familiar with MySQL. Okay, and I'm going to explain you about one offer which I'm giving, that is mysys.com internship. And come to mysys.com internship, and you will get all the details about the internship. I am offering 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months internship, and 1 year of internship, and there are several roles also are there. So and it is a, you need to pay to get the internship. I have very good projects, like classified portal, which is a worldwide classified site, which we already have a tie up with multiple vendors as a affiliate, and classified portal where people will submit their classifieds worldwide. And software.com, which is software listing site, which will be used to list the softwares. And we have a tie up with the vendors, where we get the affiliation commission, like that. Coupons Nagar and couponsnagar.in, Net Chess. So there are many projects, including artificial intelligence projects, which we are going to start. If you are interested, come and join. I'm going to give you guidance on completing the internship, and which you can utilize to fetch your long-term projects. Okay, and build your project. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, like, share, subscribe.